Back in the year 716 at cave school, the first bully invented himself, and his name was Johnny Fullframe. He used his giant full-frame flubberized body to push it against other smaller Micro Four Thirds sized people. Well, your days are numbered, Johnny. Micro Four Thirds and APS-C are pushing for your throne.
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
So what does the future have in store? Because Olympus is pushing. They got their OM1. Panasonic's bringing the GH6. Further, in May, we got the Fuji X-H2 coming. 3 cameras, potential wildlife phenomena to challenge the R5s of this generation. The A1, not really. You're challenging the A6600, really, but we're gonna beat you. I went out yesterday and got a bunch of footage with the Olympus EM1 III with the 75-300 and the Fuji X-T4 with the 70-300. I had one strapped on my hand and I tried to get the same shots. So like I'm getting that and then I put this camera away and then pull that one out. And so we're gonna see some comparisons in this video as we talk about all the Micro Four Thirds loser technology coming. So here's some chickadees, Olympus on your left, Fuji on your right. I find that the colors are so similar, they're almost identical. 240 frames per second on the Fuji, 120 on the Olympus, and the colors, like, they're both kind of filmic looking. They're both fantastic, and the next gen, Olympus is now catching up with the 240 frames. I like it. Will it be as, like, big a crop? I find that crop is an advantage. It's a 31% crop to shoot for slow-mo. That makes that 75-300 like almost 800 mil. And same with the Fuji. If you had the 100-400, it would be approaching the same focal length because that's a 29% crop. But let me know which you prefer, the 240 frames per second. There's just something so magical about it. Just, it's so much slower in the leaps of these birds. It just feels like they're floating. That makes me a little nervous for Micro Four Thirds future because this Olympus Wow Cam just kind of matched the X-T4 last gen. That's scary. It's gonna have better IBIS, better autofocus, more polish, could be sharper, but same specs on paper. Then the X-H2 is gonna come out with like 8K, maybe 480 frames. Something magical, and a Fuji look. I tell you, there's something about Fuji that I want to go shoot with it more. It's just so fun, but the polish is not there. Focusing is hard, the zoom is stiff. You know what happened to me the other day? I'm zooming, the lens came off the mount in my hand. I separated it. I was like, what the hell happened? I didn't press the mount button. I think because that zoom ring's so stiff and the focusing, you got to turn 1,500 times. So little things like that. Fuji, you're a fringe member of society. I don't trust you. Not with my kids. Fuji does have a luck factor though that comes on their side. Every time I pulled out the Fuji, the animals would do something different and better than when I was on the Olympus. I don't know, man. Fuji has some sort of animal lure. Look at this duck Jesus moment. I found a Jesus duck. Oh, Fuji, there's nothing you can do wrong. I tell you, I almost pounced again. I'm still thinking of pouncing. A Fuji 100-400 for 1,500. I'm like, oh, should I buy it? That means I have to then buy an X-T4. Just patience, man. Just wait. You have a Sony G Master back there. You got the Olympus, like you're fine. Just wait. I have to know for sure. I have to see footage from the GH6, the OM1, and then this X-H2, and then I will pounce hard on one of those systems. So hard. When it comes to Olympus and Panasonic, who do I think is going to be the victor of our love? I gotta tell you, I think it's going to be the same as the last generation. Say Panasonic G9 versus Olympus EM1 III. The G9's going to look a little sharper, more dynamic range, like better video specs. It's going to be nice, but autofocus, that's going to be a struggle. I can't believe they're sticking with it. They literally try to tell me that it's depth from D-Loser Focus Technology AI version. It's 5 times faster. I don't need Christmas lights in my background and reminding me of how many Christmas miracles I've missed just pulsing. It's faster now. There's no way it's gonna track something. You're gonna have moments where it's like, this is fine. Everybody, you're blowing it out of proportion. Panasonic's good now, it's fine. Everybody I know that shoots on Panasonic, it's a constant peeking in the background. Just, oh, there it is. No, always. And if you have lights, it's pulsing. If you want to track something, it'll do it for a bit and then a snap. A little bit more snap. It's bad. It's never gonna work. Contrast attack, I can't believe they're sticking with it. I laugh and cry. The only reason I'm even giving them a pass is because I now manually focus a lot of the time, but I think it would be nice to not have to do that. If a bird tracking algorithm could latch onto it, it's like, yeah, of course you would choose that, and then I can just focus on getting something nice. Right now I'm at the stage of, oh my god, a squirrel, and I just start recording. Eventually I pass that shot. No, if I just move here, look at that shot with that in the background, this clear vantage point. I'm getting all these twigs in between us. All my shots are this, basically. And then the one twig here grows with the ton of twigs. But I feel like the GH6, if you are willing to manually focus, you're gonna get the better technology. 6K 60p. I'm not sure what their slow motion is yet. I'm behind the times. I have a bunch of videos in advance. I've already posted some out of order. Things are weird here. But I feel like it'll look better. Because colors, for nature, it doesn't seem to matter as much. Like, when I'm filming my face, I don't want pig skin. But if you're out there, it's like, yeah, all the colors of all the cameras look fine. It's cool. Olympus is just going to be the much more well-rounded, like the autofocuses, I imagine it's going to be fantastic and smooth, like just, it was already good. But now, like with all their stacked sensor, faster processor, everything, more autofocus points, it's like that's going to be reliable as maybe Nikon level. Not quite Canon or Sony, but you could be there. I spend a lot of time wondering which system I should jump into. I mean, I'm already into Sony and Olympus, but not like fully committed with like super expensive glass. The G Master was a pricey one. I just saw it for $100 less than I paid for it. No. Time you were on Satan's side, not mine. That's fine. We deal with it. But every day I look, I think, Olympus, 100 to 400, imagine that 800 mil reach, and in slow-mo it's like over 1,000 mils. Oh, but will the IBIS... I contacted Olympus to ask them, I know it's not sync stay, but do they at least work together? It was very confusing. She was like, yeah, you'll get 3-axis stabe. Two in the lens, 1 in the body. I'm like, as opposed to the 5-axis in only the body? She said it would be better than the 75 to 300 handheld video. So take that to the bank. That's an option. Fuji with the 100 to 400. XH2, what are you going to do for us? In my opinion, crop sensors are so much better for wildlife, not only because you get that reach advantage, you save weight, but also when you're outside. Say you want to shoot wide open, your shutter speed's nasty. It's nice to have a slower lens. At least you're somewhat in the ballpark of a shutter speed dignity. Full frame, you're never getting there. Come on. I'm not sure how important the subject separation is in wildlife, because you're still getting some. If you look side by side with the Robins, Olympus versus Fuji, yeah, you can see it. It's totally like, wow. But if you were just playing the clip on its own, it doesn't look much different. You're looking at the animal here, not the background. And how distracting is it? It's still blurred slightly. I don't like these like portraits of birds against a completely blurred out background. It's like a green screen. Like, what was the point? Where are you? You probably traveled to this exotic location and it's just like a bird cutout. Like, just go in Photoshop, copy the thing out, put it on whatever background you want. What's the point of that? So Micro Four Thirds, the ton is not a disadvantage, it's advantageous. You'll get the shot easier in focus. I struggle with that G Master. It's like one little turn and you're out completely. So it's like I've got a lot of missed shots, and dare I say it, I don't want to bring the wrath here, but I think the Fuji 240 frames per second is sharper than the Sony full frame. Side by side, it is better. And I'm like, that has me rethinking my gender. I'm just like, what the hell? Why? I thought the Sony was much better. The Fuji has more moire and aliasing. It's like a cheaper looking image, but it's sharper and you get more reach. It's better in all situations I've ever tried. Just like the autofocus would be better on the Sony, but are you using that for wildlife? No, you're not. So that had me thinking Fuji 100 to 400, sell the G Master, do I buy an X-T4 or wait for the XH2? Something fun is gonna happen in the future. It's either Olympus OM1 with the 100 to 400, Fuji XH2 with their 100 to 400, or can Panasonic win my love back with their 100 to 400 dual stab, manually focusing? If you have something faster, slower than 240 frames per second, you win my love. I will lick you. So right now we're in a kind of waiting period. These cameras are going to be announced soon. By the time I post this, maybe the Olympus has been announced, maybe the GH6 full specs have been released, but we're kind of waiting for the performance, and we have to rely on scrub YouTubers like me and them to give you the information you don't even need. Oh, here's the spec sheets, bro. It does 5.9K with 60p. Here's footage of a plant in my backyard. Is that what you were gonna use it for? I showed you. Now you know. Thank you so much, spec sheet readers of YouTube, Colombia. You deserve a place at the bottom level of some terribly smelly apartment building. So, we wait. Fuji XH2 is the final key to this. And then I don't think anything in the future. Canon's stupid. Nikon, I wish I had the Z9, but they only have a 100 to 400 zoom. It's not the longest. I need long in my mouth. And yes, we're on the Voidylander, by the way. Partial focused obtained. I read a comment on DP Review in the forums. Someone said, this is the first camera, the Olympus OM1, is the first camera that I'm thinking of actually buying brand new to help the industry. And I was just thinking, like, I buy all my stuff used. I'm not helping these companies survive. I was like, you couple heroes, aren't you? Oh, so, I don't know, man. Yeah, I want to support them. I feel like I am by buying their system, but I punished Sony by getting their lens used because they wouldn't send me one for review. I asked. They said, yeah, no problem. We'll get it right out to you. I didn't hear from them for months. I was like, still interested? It's like, oh, sorry, the Olympics came. If there was a totem pole of important people, we would have to dig up the totem pole and dump a bunch of stuff in there, and you'd be right at the bottom first. So I did not get the lens. So I bought one used, and I'll sell it used, and then buy something better, new, from your rivals to hurt you. So while technically I agree we should be supporting these companies and buying the cameras used, on the other hand, we could save money by buying them new. I always think like you couldn't do something dumber than pre-order a camera for full price, full asking market release price. At least wait till it's lowered, or preferably buy it used for dick money. That fire alarm didn't even clip my audio. Wow, that means I'm recording too low. The noise floor on that one is not going to be pleasant, but that's fine. So many questions will soon be answered for us. Will Olympus film simulations finally work? I tried them. The little dark dramatic tone, I was like, wow, that's choppy. The vintage looked kind of cool. It looked very vintage. The shutter speed almost helped, because it was like, oh, that's new. That's different. It's a gimmick. But you better improve them with 10 bits. I can dig that. So the reality is you don't need a full frame system for this kind of glory shot, not that you would even deserve it. You get what you can of these lower tiered cameras. You'll get some background blur, not this amount, but you wouldn't know what to do with it if you had it. I know exactly what's going on back there, so I'm excited. Olympus, Panasonic even. I want to get the Panasonic just to laugh at the autofocus. So improved. But if it could track something, you might have something. Oh, it doesn't work in slow-mo? Oh, that's too bad. Always a cripple somewhere. This show's not about you. Leave now, or I will use this mic. That'll ruin the audio. I could fight back, you know? Because you always do stuff. I want your 100 to 500 with an RC. That better be coming. Go make it. Good. Rumor has it it's only going to have 720 frames per second. That would be class leading. I know, I'm an idiot. So I'm going to leave. Thank you, Window Lighting, for raising and lowering the brightness throughout the entire video. I appreciate that. You can buy a Camera Conspiracies t-shirt down below if you feel like it. Affiliate links for this system, you don't deserve it. You don't deserve it. Bye.